Welcome to another episode of Harbor City Local TV, being recorded at Space Coast Podcast with Jesse here. We are in the studio today with Alie and Eli from local nonprofit Space Swap. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Now,
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Now, you guys are involved in a ton of stuff. We're going to go through a lot of it. But Space Swap is primarily what we're going to talk about today because you guys have a lot of big news going on. You're making a lot of moves. You have a new space opening soon. So congratulations on that. Now, Space Swap is an interesting name. Where did you guys come up with the name Space Swap?
So initially with the idea of Space Swap, it started with this clothing swap idea. And I actually, for the name, hit up a friend of mine in California. Her name is Teresa Wong, and she does a lot of digital media stuff, and we sat and came up with over 100 names and eventually narrowed it down. It was going to be Space Rock Swap, and I told my brother about the name, and eventually he was like, why don't you just shorten it to Space Swap? And that kind of stuck. So the idea was born, and shortly after the idea was born, when I was planning the very first Space Swap, I hit Ellie up. So she's been on since very, very early on.
Yeah, like 10 minutes in. Like she texted me and I was like, I'm there, where are you?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah. So we met up at a park, at Pineapple Park in Eau Gallie Arts District. And I showed her the space, and I showed her my vision, and she was just down. And I guess we just never left each other's side since.
Yeah.
And that was last September 2021.
Not even a year yet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So.
Now, you guys have grown and created a lot of traction in the last year, but tell us a little bit about that vision, especially from, where you kind of came from to creating that vision to eventually bringing in more people and how the vision changed. And we'll kind of build that to where you're at now.
Mm-hmm. So the idea actually came from a clothing swap that I attended in California years previous. And it always stuck in my mind, why don't more people do this? This is so awesome. And fast forwarding, I've been wanting to do a small clothing swap since I moved back in 2020. I fled California during the pandemic and moved back home to my hometown, Satellite Beach, Florida. And one thing led to another, and it was supposed to be something small and something fun. But after our first space swap, Ellie and I kind of just looked at each other because of the crazy response and how quickly it started taking off on social media. People asking, hey, when is the next one? When is the next one? We kind of knew like this was going to become something greater. What would you say?
For sure. And, like during COVID, I was kind of going crazy. I felt helpless and hopeless, and I'm sure everyone did at some point. So just being able to be active and actually do something and build upon that and scale that was, just like evident. So every day it's changing. Like we're just adding on more and more to it.
And you bring up a good point because like these types of ideas, they build from networking and they build from research and things like that. I'm sure you guys have kind of come across certain percentages or research that has driven where you're at now with the idea of sustainable clothing and sustainability. Can you talk to that a little bit?
The truth is we don't really have anything like that here in Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
Not to the level where we're going with it. We're making everything green completely through and through. We're actually partnering with a textile recycling company in Orlando, and they're willing to drive to Melbourne once a week to pick up our excess clothing. So we're really taking our sustainability mission to the next level and really trying to be transparent with the people who shop with us. Hey, I guess that's fast forwarding into the shop.
That's okay.
But we're opening up a thrift store this fall, and we can go more into detail with that. But with the clothing donations, we're trying to be transparent that, hey, when you give us our clothes and you purchase an item, we're going to do public outreach and we're going to donate an item. And from there, we're also going to have different repurposing classes, sewing classes, where you can learn how to stitch and repair things so that it doesn't end up in the landfill, thus perpetuating the problem. And then when we've done everything we possibly can, we've given clothes away, we've donated, we've sewn things, we've created new clothing, then our very last element, which is a key, which we just got approved of this week, is giving it to a proper textile recycling place.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's, that's thought for community, that's thought for other people. What drives that? Like, again, when I got into Harbor City Local, I was part of the music community. I just got out of restaurants and understanding the type of music community we have here. And it had exploded a bit over the last 10 years anyways. But, where I'm at now with Harbor City is not where I started. I was just trying to be a part of the music community, support it, put out compilations, and now we're doing educational things, and we're a nonprofit ourselves and all these things, and I didn't really see that at the beginning. Now where we can go is dramatically different than where we started, and also more dear to my heart. Mm-hmm. Has there been any aspect of, well, this is where I'm starting, this is, I'm interested in fashion, and where has that driven you to be a part of the community, and then also how do you see the future?
For sure. I mean, fashion, clothes, it's a necessity. Everyone needs it, and it's so much a part of the culture, and that's something that, I don't know, I see the culture as some cultures kind of like sick, with consumerism. Mm-hmm. So that's, we kind of like need to stomp that out a little bit, get closer, and community is how we do that, and being involved and helping each other and understanding each other, taking the time to take that space that is keeping us apart, stitch it closer together, nice. And, learn what we can do to better it all.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And with clothes, because everyone needs it, that's kind of like the key to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with some of your parties and some of your events that you've put on, who have you donated clothes to?
So initially, we partnered with Ways for Life, previously known as Ready for Life Brevard, and they do a lot of outreach and transitional services for foster kids phasing out of foster care in the local area. I have a deep family tie with Pam Bruss. I went to preschool with her daughter. Nice. So she's like a second mom to me and a huge mentor for Ellie and I. That being said, we donated clothing to them the first time. Their closet is slowly growing, so we actually overturn a lot of those clothes to Promise Thrift Store. So they are an adult living center for adults with special needs. And that's also something that Ellie and I both are involved with the community, is the special needs community. So that's where our first bundle of clothing went. Our second bundle of clothing, and when we started raising funding, a percentage of our ticket sales went to Community of Hope Brevard. So they help house families in need. So they actually work closely with Ways for Life, and now we're working with both of them. So we were able to donate leftover clothing to them. And it's exciting how many opportunities and how many other resources we're able to donate clothing to in the future.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, as a, nonprofit and working with that community, one of the things that you get to see, I would imagine, is, you brought up the consumerism, and you're right, buying stuff just to buy it, or, having a title doesn't really mean anything. But on the other side, for the people that can afford these things, that they can look at themselves a little brighter, look at themselves a little with a little more confidence. I mean, that's going to bring them to another level. I mean, do you see that in what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, you guys could just be doing this as a donation center. You guys could just be doing this as a fun way for people to understand, green and consumerism and these types of things. But you go to the next level and you put on events and you bring music and you bring art to it. What drove that idea to make this more of a event situation rather than, we just want to do some good?
Well, from the very first space swap, our good friend Evan Grossman, DJ Cat Daddy, he's a resident over at Pineapples, huge heart. He volunteered to DJ, and we also had another DJ volunteer because shopping with music, it just makes sense. And then Ellie actually had the idea of live painting and finding a couple artists to come live paint the day of, which actually turned into Chaotic Neutral Collective, if you want to speak more on that.
Yeah, so Chaotic Neutral Collective came out of Space Swap, and we just want to be like a safe space for artists that are looking for that space. And we're probably going to be having like art nights again. We used to do that a lot. And within just meeting with other artists, we kind of also came up with a repurposing renaissance. That's what we call Space Swap, because that kind of just like bundles everything in together and like what we want to portray coming out of, the dark times.
The
plague. We're on the uprise, so.
Yeah.
Now, with Chaotic Neutral, do you have a future vision for where that's going? Is that kind of just more of a, like you said, it's a safe space, it's just here if you want to get involved, or do you see a way to drive that, see a way to grow the artist collective?
Yeah, definitely both. I want to reach out to like the youth and give them a space to interact with like other artists, older artists with like, that can like mentor and whatnot. And with art, there's just so much that we don't realize that we can do. There's so much, and we just need that exposure. And with a safe space, I think that's how we can like bring that and then pair it with Space Swap. Like it's just community.
Who are some artists that you have worked with or are working with within the collective?
Sure. So Carly Egan, she was like there from the beginning. She's done a lot of the networking, and we have Kyle Vandal and Brian Zarajek, and we all kind of just do different things too. So it's really like a collective.
Which has to be inspiring when you're seeing someone do something that you haven't really thought of. Then you can, potentially bring that to your own art in your own certain way. Now, the collective seems to have, and DJ Cat Daddy have seemed to move in a direction that, you're right, he's a resident over at Pineapples now. And they do, the Vibe Tribe Thursdays, is that right?
Yeah, he does his own thing with Vibe Tribe.
Yeah, but you guys seem to be strongly connected with that.
Yes.
Yeah, you've done art there, right?
I have a couple
And you've done
times.
music there, right? Yeah.
Yep. Art and music.
Art and music, yeah. So that's not directly connected with what you do? That's kind of DJ Cat Daddy's thing?
Yes, so Vibe Tribe is DJ Cat Daddy's thing. He also does it with Negs and eScience, and that's kind of their own thing. But interestingly enough, it works so well with Space Swap, and we're able to mix and match and all work together, but also work on our own separate projects too.
Right. And that kind of goes back to, I know we kind of got off topic here a little bit, but to the, it's just the networking aspect of what you guys are doing. Your hands are in so many different things to drive your core focus. So you're able to meet and get into these fun ideas, and those fun ideas end up networking in a very positive direction for your core focus.
Yes.
And I love it.
Yes.
That's excellent.
And it's all finding who's about the community and about the art, because I think you need to have both to make things like this happen. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
You're very, very awesome. Excellent. Now, fundraising events, you going into, now you said that you guys have your own sort of mentors, but that's something that you guys also provide yourself, right?
Yes. So we're going to be providing different types of mentorships at Space Swap. I'm going to be a mentor. Ellie's going to be a mentor. I'm excited to dive back into my acting roots and perhaps teach like an acting class or give some sort of like scene breakdown class for aspiring young actors, and really pushing the film community. We both have a film background as well. And yeah, any specific classes you're looking forward to teaching or mentoring?
Yeah, I mean, I sew, I paint, I'm into like film photography, just all that jazz. And then I'm also going to school for like business management, so that will be an important key to what else we want to unlock with the people that we work with.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of the people we want to work with, we will be working with Ways for Life and giving mentorship what's the word? Opportunities, apprenticeship mentorship opportunities to the kids over at Ways for Life, so that we're able to help them build a resume so that they can go onto the real world and say, hey, I have retail experience.
Right.
We're also looking into providing volunteer hours for youth that's interested, because our age demographic primarily is 15 to 25, and that's a very exciting yet vulnerable age. So in order to pass the torch and lead by example and say, hey, you can do this with your life, like you can be an artist, we can show you how to be an artist, be a part of a community, we can show you the business side of art so that you can make money being an artist. So really just catering towards that type of mentorship, because I think a lot of people get lost in the sauce and get discouraged, and they don't know the right steps, or they don't understand their value, and they get taken advantage of as an artist. So it's important to know your worth.
Now you bring up a good point. What in your mind, what is an artist? Like, because the whole, I mean, it's all subjective, right? And there's plenty of people out there, especially young people, who are afraid to get into stuff. I mean, I didn't really get into bands till I was in my 30s, really. I did some dabbling younger, but serious until my 30s. And I wish I would have started younger. So if you can speak on that a little bit about, what is art to you, and basically inspire the listeners that are afraid to jump off the cliff to get on stage or to
Such a deep question.
Yeah, that is. Art. Dang. Yeah, it's everything. So it's how you want to color your world, basically, or it can be in black and white. That's cool too. We love contrast. But yeah, it's kind of like taking control of your life and where it wants to go, whether it be creating or just having a dream and going for it. It doesn't have to be one thing. It's not like just painting, or it's totally subjective. And the thing is, it's whatever you make it. That is art. Like,
absolutely.
And if you claim that, because once you start believing in yourself and giving yourself that space and reclaiming yourself to be whatever you want to be, you're creating that. You're a creator. You're an artist. And
I like that, because that's exactly, the idea of also getting into music and art therapy, is that, it's confidence building.
Right.
And
There's no bounds to it. Like, you create your rules if you want that, Boundaries are very important. So it's like, but it's endless. That's art.
Yeah, it's transparent, it's evolving. It could represent the evolution of yourself, it could represent the evolution of society, others, or the imagination as a whole. It's endless. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, you guys have another partner in this endeavor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shey.
Shey Anderson.
Shey Anderson.
What's her background a bit?
So she is, first of all, amazing. True goddess queen energy. And she works over at Groundswell as the operations manager. So she has a background in incubating startups, which was perfect for us.
Right.
She came on as a volunteer very early on at our second space swap and just really got her hands dirty, and we're like, wow, we love her.
Yes.
And then she volunteered her services to help us get things moving in more of a business sense, because we're artists over here, and we had so many business questions that she was able to come in and answer and help connect us to the right people through Groundswell. So we have a lot of mentors over there through Shey and otherwise. And she's also a local commercial real estate agent. So she was actually able to help us negotiate to get into our building. And she's just been incredible. She was probably the missing piece, I would say. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah.
Yeah, she's really great. And all three of us are equally as dedicated. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we wake up with excitement to do this every single day. We're always a call away. It doesn't matter what time of night. We're just like, hey, I have this idea. Hey, we need to do this thing. We have this deadline. And we're just always texting or making progress every single day together.
Now, we're going to pull up some pictures here. One of the subtopics of today is that we're communicating with some pretty badass females here. And they're, that's the network that's happening here, Shey, Alie, and Eli. First pic we're going to pull up is Alie throwing down in the TSOL pit at
You
Punk
had
in the
to
Park.
include that, yes.
Yeah. All dressed up, looking great.
It's that hair,
but
just following her.
Yep. But I think that's amazing. The Space Swap does participate in events. You guys were a vendor.
Yes.
And then when it was time to throw down,
It was a great show.
it was fun. Thank you. And then here's Shey, Alie, and Eli. This was the Las Sardinas show. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
At Causeway Records.
Yeah. Who has just moved out of EGAD. Bummer.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But Las Sardinas did also play the Dreamland with Derek Gores. He loved them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun. And they played at the your guys' last event, right?
They've played at
Yeah.
the last two events.
The last
Yeah.
two events.
So they're about it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have close ties with Las Sardinas. We're huge supporters. Some of the guys in the band are our boyfriends of girls on the Space Swap team.
Gotcha.
So we're like roots. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Bradley. I don't know the other guys too well, but
Yeah.
Bradley's pretty intertwined in the music community.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a while. They're great. And it's such a funky name
Yeah.
that they kind of blew me away when I actually got to see them. That was pretty fun.
I'm pretty sure they got the name because they were playing music all packed in a room, and someone
Nice.
was like, "We're like sardines," and then someone else was like, "Las Sardinas."
That's good.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's how you make a name.
Don't overthink it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
I
how
hope
you
I
end up
told
with.
that story right.
If she didn't, that's your story now, fellas.
Yes.
That's her
Yeah,
story.
Yeah.
That's how you got the name.
Now, you brought up that you're getting into a location now.
Yes.
Where is your location going to be?
So we're going to be located near Babcock and US 1, behind Apocalypse, close to Delph's Freeze, next to Savvy Records. I know that's a lot of different local businesses to, yeah.
Savvy Records. Shout out Michelle.
Yes, shout out Michelle.
Nice. So that's Midtown. That's considered Midtown, right? Kind of the start of Midtown, really.
Yeah.
The Babcock corridor there.
Yeah.
And everyone knows where Apocalypse is, so
Right.
just behind Apocalypse.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a commercial, industrial kind of place right there behind like U-Haul, and that strip that you guys are in. I've noticed those have been picking up, and I've seen some tenant turnover. But hopefully you guys are there and you guys last. And with the vinyl shop, I think that'd be just like a fun little we get the
Seems like a natural
coordinating
partnership, right?
right. Get
Yeah.
those coordinating retailers. That kind of all like
Yeah.
share a similar like demographic. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I see a really, really cool parking lot party happening there.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
We have to ask the paint shop, so can we use your parking lot?
That sounds like a forgiveness thing to me.
Manifest it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait till they go home at 6. All right, guys, let's party.
Yeah, let's party. That's it. Awesome. Now, when are you guys planning on opening?
Sometime this fall. We already have the keys and we're in there renovating. We just want to make sure we have everything in order before we open officially. But we founded Space Swap September of 2021, so we're coming up on our 1 year. When we do open, it'll be a huge 1 year celebration, grand opening.
Nice.
Space Swap, everything.
Yes.
We're very excited.
Bounce houses and Dells Freeze twisty cones.
That would be out of the picture.
Right?
Yeah, shout out to Life of the Party. Maybe we'll get Sid to loan us a bounce
Yeah.
house and
Yeah.
some balloons.
That was already like talked about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Legit.
you're on point with that.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And part of what you're doing there, again, there's so much great things to still talk about, but you're going to be basically setting a venue there too, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
What do you see? What type of music? Everything, like how do you see your venue as part of this community?
Well, we're both musicians, so we're gonna maybe do like solo acts or like little like,
Singer-songwriter feel?
Yeah.
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 But
Open mic night.
open mic night,
Poetry slams.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have the speed spirits and the sardines
For
come through for
sure.
sure.
I talked to Kristen Warren this morning. She's down to stop by and do a little set. I saw her thing on TED.
I saw that too.
Yeah,
was
it's
dope.
great.
That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with Kristen last week. We're actually adding a black box blackout stage to the music festival.
Are you for
Nice.
real?
Mhm.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
But I'm sorry to interject. Go on.
No, please. That's great news. I will be there. That is so dope.
So you guys gonna have a stage and sound system, or is it gonna be more like acoustic?
We'll have a sound system.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
and a
Mhm.
stage and a green room. We're
Nice.
gonna make it legit. Like you're gonna feel the whole artist experience when you play at Space Swap. You'll have your green room. You can chill with the homies back there. Get
Yeah.
ready for your set.
And coffee.
Yes.
I'm missing like a late night coffee place.
Yes.
RIP open mics. Like
Yeah.
for real. You know, art like coffee venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I love Apocalypse too.
Yeah.
For sure.
We'll have to approach him on the idea.
Yeah.
Hey, can you get us a coffee keg?
Not for nothing. Thank you, Apocalypse, because they have sponsored the studio for a while.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah,
They're
so
great.
so they supply all of our coffee that we brew here, and yeah, they're Christine, Mike, great people.
Great
they
people.
will. I mean, they may not offer you a espresso machine, but that'd be cool.
Mhm.
But they could at least help with the program. So if you guys do want to serve coffee
Yeah.
out of your place, I'm sure there's a thing that's possible there.
They're close enough that there's
Yeah.
a lot of options for you.
So many
Yeah.
options.
Yeah.
I like these ideas.
Yeah.
Keep them flowing. But yes, late night coffee,
Yeah.
workspace. I mean, ideally, we're going to be like a hangout spot.
Oh,
It sounds
So.
like the city beatnik,
Yeah.
like,
we got our own like little village,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
Soho area,
right?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
need that here in
Yeah.
Melbourne. And
Yeah.
it's happening and it's growing and
Yeah.
we just really want to be a part of that.
Excellent. Now, you brought up Speed Spirits. They opened Punk in the Park. They're freaking amazing. Let's pull up a video. It's a quick Facebook video of one of Space Swap's last events. Speed Spirits were playing. We get a quick shot of Ellie also.
Yes.
Yes. So let me get it on the big screen. Here we go. That's what it's all about. Let's go loop it a couple times.
And where was this?
This was at Banana River Yard in Satellite Beach.
Nice.
Like right down the street from my house.
It is right down the street from your house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun day. The artists were kind of strewn throughout the. Is that a word? Strewn?
Strewn.
Now
no,
it is.
no, it is.
Yeah.
Throughout the yard.
Let's consult Webster with that.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun day. Now you've. Where else have you guys held events?
We had an event at New Visions and then Pineapple Park.
Pineapple
So
Park.
we've had 3 events thus far.
The one at New Visions was pretty interesting. You guys had some metal going on over there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nyla Lois.
Mhm.
Critical Condition. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So happy that our sound system like held up with that. But it sounded really. Yeah. She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were having our Christmas party at Intra that day,
Yeah.
and it was fantastic to hear Nyla in critical condition just throwing down across the street.
New Visions. I mean, I feel like that's a venue that's so underutilized because they have like the patio lighting and it's all like nice with climbing vines on the iron kind of fencing and everything else. So I'm so glad that you guys were able to utilize that because I feel like that's just a lost feature. Like just,
For sure.
I feel like we could use that a little more.
He wanted to get involved in the 2019 fest, but he didn't have all that done.
Right.
And then I didn't really hear from him for last year, but I should stop in there and talk to him about something.
He's great. He really believed in our vision, and he not only allowed us to use the space, but he donated so much of his time and personal resources. You know, he went out of his way to bring in a chef. He went out of his way to get a tent and tables and chairs, and that was all Mike. He really loved what we were doing. And in the future he does want to hold more events there. I think he's waiting on some specific permits, and eventually he would like to open up a restaurant and do some other stuff. But he's awesome. I really hope we can have a future event there. We are talking with Rockledge Gardens. They've reached out to us.
Nice.
We have a couple other venues.
They got new owners, and they're younger and they're hipper. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our volunteers, Bella, her boyfriend's also in Las Sardinas. She works at Rockledge Gardens, and so she mentioned Space Swap enough times to where they're like, we want to host a Space Swap.
Yes.
So, yeah, shout out to Rockledge Gardens. I didn't know they were under new ownership. That's interesting. Good to know. Wow.
So Cypress Table has been there for a while, and oh my gosh, Patricia's been putting out so much good food. Like big shout out to Cypress Table. I'm not sure how long they're going to be there.
Cool.
Because it's kind of been like a placeholder plus what they're, but I think they've gotten the funding, and we should see some exciting things from them. But I mean, that's still even if they vacate that place, there's a place for a caterer or someone else to kind of produce some food out of there, and I'm sure that would be included. I mean, one of my in the real estate industry, title company did a holiday party there, and we just had a blast because they open up after hours, and it's like you have all this room just to spread out, and it never felt crowded.
We should do an after-hours Space Swap.
For sure.
Like late night.
We'll
Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, they had Chargood playing some violin for us, and of course, that girl on violin. I mean,
We
and
love
so
Char.
yeah, so I've seen that place open up to be a party.
Cool.
And I you would never think like, well, it's like a nursery but a garden. It's usually like quiet, like a library. But after hours, I mean, I've seen that place turn on. And supposedly it's been like a wedding venue and everything else. So it's got possibilities.
Yeah.
It's just-
Absolutely.
yeah, we're blessed to have so many cool venues in this town, and and have owners that are, that love to open up to the public and even private events.
Yeah, and we brought up Causeway earlier.
Yeah.
And they've been a big supporter of, everything music you guys are kind of incorporated with.
Yes.
They moved to Cocoa Beach.
Oh, so they're in
Gotcha.
Cocoa
Good.
Beach. Okay.
Yeah.
We were wondering.
Yeah. So that would be another potential, place to
True.
after
So
hours.
true.
Yeah. We're learning a lot today,
I know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I'm
great.
excited for the scene.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
There's a lot
brilliant.
happening.
Yeah.
New venue going in downtown Egad in the next year.
Wow.
That's the one it's under construction right now.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be like a really big hitter for those more national acts.
Yeah, to compete with Orlando.
The
Yeah.
place next to New Visions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a venue in the next year here. And then what Jarns is doing down there is just mixing up everything.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
it's pretty intense.
And Midtown.
Well, that's kind of why I brought up Midtown earlier, is that, you guys are in an interesting spot, even though there's this turnover, like Jesse was talking about earlier, some of the things that Jarns is doing there's a Margaritaville coming in right down the street.
That's going to be exciting.
So you're in an interesting spot that has a large amount of growth happening.
Yeah.
So, sustaining the business through a year or two here, you're going to see a lot of different things popping up around you. And that's exciting in a business sense. So, we talked a lot about, the reasonings for the nonprofit. I want to get back into music and art here in a minute, but you're getting your degree in business. Where do you guys see, in a business sense, Space Swap going?
We've definitely talked about scaling it.
For sure.
Yeah. Eventually moving to a larger space as we grow.
Like a warehouse space, maybe. I don't know. I dig that.
Yeah, totally, like 2-story warehouse space.
Something with levels so that we can just have a larger impact on bringing people together.
Yes.
For sure.
So a lot of what Harbor City does, storage is at my house, and it's too much now. So like we're in that spot now where we have to find, warehouse space and things like that. So we should partner on warehouse space.
You already know my vision. I'm already way ahead of you.
Right?
Yeah. We're gonna be doing some fun things in this area. Sound stages, multi-modular venues.
Yeah.
So we could do a
if
lot
we
of
can bring
things.
more film here, like we've like shot around the idea of like production and.
Well,
okay, so
after the show, it sounds like we
need to have a meeting.
A little powwow.
well, I'll at least bring it up. Again, speaking with Kathy Elias at EGAD, she's working on bringing a film festival to the EGAD Arts District, and
Sweet.
She's going to be looking for people that are driven in interest and want to, not only help create but volunteer and promote. I'm talking with a different venue on another festival early next year, and we had talked about potentially having a teaser film festival at that event to kind of get the ball rolling. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. We need to talk about that. That's exciting.
Excellent. Now, the space you guys are creating, we talked about that, people can come and shop. It's going to be a venue. You're going to do coffee. You're going to do all these other things. But it's also a drop-off spot, right? Like, you don't have to come and shop. You can just participate in the green venture.
Yep.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so since we have the opportunity to partner with the textile recycling company in Orlando, more specifically, let's see, I really wanted to give an appropriate shout out. So Brian Pappenfuss, the marketing manager, gave me a call 2 days ago and was so excited and said that he personally himself can drive to our thrift store, an hour drive from Orlando, to pick up our leftover clothing. And so just finding people who are so about the impact is so exciting. But yeah, we just want people to know that no matter what, if you drop your clothes off with us, they're in good hands.
Yes.
We will make sure we can do the absolute most with them. Yeah.
And before that, because if you donate with us and it's in the shop, for every garment that someone buys, we will donate a garment. Just want to put that back out there.
I was just about to, that's on my list here of things to talk about. Yeah, excellent.
Including Community of Hope Brevard. We work closely with Drew Warren. He's the executive director, and he houses homeless families. And so, that missing link is clothing. And so we're trying to make it so that with every item, let's say we sell like 400 items, then we're going to donate 400 items. The easiest, most accessible way to do that is to print 400 vouchers and give them to Drew, give them to the Daily Bread, give them to Pam Bress, give them to whoever needs these vouchers, maybe even the state, and then they can come to us and come shopping. We'll either have them come before or after hours, and they can actually feel that shopping experience, feel special, feel seen, and they can go shopping and pick it out directly. And maybe in the future, outreach will look like us coming to them, bringing a couple clothing racks. It's very experimental. Things are changing every single day. But these are just some ideas that we shopped about how specifically we're going to do the outreach.
Well, I like that. I mean, changing people's perspectives about themselves is a large part of, fixing the, homeless. And I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
I hear you.
issues. Because when you look at the way that systems interact with those types of populations, it's a very ego-driven situation. It's not really a
compassionate.
Yeah, it's not. Because the bottom line is you're trying to change viewpoint of themselves, and having them come in, and I say them, it sounds so weird, to be able to shop. I mean, that's higher level thinking. I mean, it really is. That's great.
Yeah, because people need dignity.
We want to build confidence.
Yeah, and it if you're forced to go through whatever's left over, for instance, of say a thrift store, and they're like, well, you can look through that bin. That's
it's lazy.
It is lazy.
Yeah.
And it's just like and I mean, how else are these people usually getting clothes? I mean, a lot of times they use this same pants and shirts for days and days and days.
Right.
Before shower or laundry facilities available. There are some churches that open up their facility, but maybe it's like once a week or even twice a week. But I mean, this heat, those clothes are going to get saturated with sweat. I mean, you really need to have a laundered wardrobe.
Oh yeah, and we have a process. We're going to wash every garment before hanging it up, and we're going to add like our own like special way of loving it. We're still talking about that, like
it's going to smell like lavender or something.
Because
I'm in.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Speaking of that, shameless plug.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been making soap with my mans, and we just made our own like formula for laundry detergent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we were doing like just hand soap and then laundry detergent. Now it's like we can do like dish soap and kind of just like bring that in, because that's also something that we need. But it's also
so
like,
good.
hey, you can kind of do this too, kind of the consumerism aspect of it, like small business or just doing it yourself, sovereignty, big time.
Yeah, because there's a lot of toxic things. Like you wouldn't just take Tide to the face. No. It's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently Tide Pods, however, became a thing. I hope some of those people survived. But, let's just be honest. There's a lot of toxins in there. And, as it goes through the rinse cycle, it goes into whatever body of water, to be treated. Maybe it's treated, maybe it's not. But it's certainly not sustainable.
Absolutely.
And having an alternative, I feel like is where we need to kind of go. And there's some brands out there.
Yeah.
But it really it doesn't have to be as proprietary and complicated as some of these manufacturers who make the soap and detergents, believe it is. I mean, it's really like 3 or 4 ingredients.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, and the interesting thing about the younger generations is that it's getting away from that consumerism you're talking about. I think some of that is a level of, I'm going to throw out a buzzword here, privilege, being able to focus on that. Privileged people are able to focus on more sustainability where other people are just surviving. But being able to create a way to bring that to those surviving populations is dramatic change. And because the surviving populations just use what's available. Now you brought up the lazy aspect of looking into bins and things like that. We don't want to down people that are trying to help. We just want to, focus on what you guys are doing and, build that up, because it's interesting and it's a large movement. And really a year into what you guys are doing, I don't even think you guys have really seen the dramatic effect that you're going to have on the community. I've seen it myself through what we've done, and after 3 years of doing what we're doing, 4 years of being what we're doing, we're just now getting in front of some very dramatic policy changers and stuff like that. And so kudos, keep it going.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's easy to get a little stagnant or lose focus on your mission, but it seems like you 3 support each other in a way that really motivates it.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Now, you gave me a specific mission here. Is this the mission on the website? Is this your mission?
Yes.
to stitch our Space Coast community closer together through sustainable fashion, music, and arts.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
That's a good mission.
It's a great
It
mission.
says it all. And there's a little pun, a little tongue in cheek, you know.
Right.
It's got to sew it together.
Well, and what really, I've grown up in the punk rock arena, and as much as they like to talk about how they're anti-fashion, they have their own level of fashion, and it's interesting to
Liberty Spikes.
Exactly. Yeah, I had Liberty Spike mohawk, and
Yeah.
if I could still grow it, I'd still have it.
Right.
But
Same.
But to these types of words like fashion to be brought into a sustainable green initiatives is something that I would have never really considered. It's not really fashion to me is a X word, so to learn about it in a different frame of mind is I think important for everyone to, if there's these aspects of situations that you don't engage in and certain things don't need to be engaged, but you might be missing something crucial that's happening in your community like Space Swap. Now we have a few more minutes here. Let's talk a little bit. I'd like to. A lot of what you guys are doing is music and art and all that. And we had To Write Love on Our Arms in here, and learning more about them, I learned that kind of what we do mimics their model. We do entertainment, and on the back end, we use it for a good purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Do you kind of see that in any way?
For sure. I mean, healing. I don't know, keyword there,
Mm-hmm.
Healing through art and through music and community, like big time, reclaiming yourself. And yeah, just we all want to see each other heal.
Yeah.
Do it proper, do it together, like
Yeah.
be transparent about that. You don't have to be ashamed about what you're feeling if you're lonely and you're looking for community. Like we're all doing that too. So that's the, safe space aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like healing, for sure.
Yes.
And I've noticed people are more, apt to get involved if you're entertaining them,
Mm-hmm.
which, might be a sad thing, but at the same time, it's still getting accomplished. So again, that's, the entertainment factor of what you guys are putting out there, the community entertainment factor, follows a model that not a whole lot of nonprofits follow. But I think it's kind of the future with social media and all these things. People want that instant gratification, want to be entertained. So you guys are smart for working in that direction. And I don't know if that was a conscious decision or just because you're an artist yourself.
It definitely happened naturally because there's a huge piece of ourselves in Space Swap, and I don't know if I could do it any other way. Because art is such a huge part of my life. Anything I do that I'm passionate about has to have art. So if it was just the sustainable fashion, I could do that, but I would probably hit an element of burnout if I wasn't doing at the core what I truly love to do and introducing others. And yes, people love to be entertained, but I know so many people who love to be entertained also have dreams of entertaining. And so we're that open door. Hey, you don't know how to do this? We want to teach you. We want to invite you to live out those dreams so that you can also be on the stage and feel seen and loved and accepted.
Representation is very important.
Yeah.
To be aware is key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a reason we reached out to Kristen about the Black Box Blackout stage, is because I feel that, the music festival is even though we had 80-something bands and, 6,000 people there, there's still aspects of this community that were not represented at last year's music festival. And, to me, that's a failure on my end or our end to be inclusive.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you, when you're new and you're just trying to, be out there and create, it's easy to, get kind of, focused on what is working, because you're just trying to survive also. Do you guys have inclusive plans or diverse plans? Or, I mean, you guys are already pretty diverse and you're female fronted and all that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We have a really big acceptance and love from the LGBTQ community.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been like very inclusive there. We do have plans to become more inclusive as we grow. The demographic around this area is, you know, predominantly one way. So it would be great to invite people from all different communities to come to Space Swap and feel that love.
And learn,
But that's huge to us, and that's huge that you saw that blind spot and you're like, we need to bring Black Box to Space Coast Music Festival, because I think that's really awesome for the community. We had such a blast attending Black Box when you guys were doing it earlier this year.
Yeah, we sponsored Kristen's.
Yes.
That was March, right?
Super rad.
Yeah.
For Black History Month.
Yeah.
Yep.
They do it, right?
Yeah, it was an amazing event. And you participated.
Yeah, I was in Kristen's play.
Nice.
Well, Augustus's play. It was interesting because he actually passed away in the middle of rehearsal, like not in front of us, but like he had passed away before he got to see us perform his play. So it was the third time that play was ever performed, directed by Nancy Bach for the third time. So I was a bish. It's a bird fish, and that kind of happened because we were putting the production on and just cramming everything into 2 weeks. And but it was amazing, and it was Kristen's idea. It was I hope we can like pull up footage or something. But it was cool to be a part of. It was cool for me to be part of something bigger and like me be the minority kind of for once in such an inclusive, loving cast. So
yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was I saw part 2 of, and every time Martin Luther King would come over the loudspeaker, it was almost tears. Like it was profound. It was huge.
yeah.
It was a great event. Now you also so you act, you do nonprofit, and then your music. You write original music, right?
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and I've seen her perform, and it's been amazing.
What instrument or instruments?
I play guitar.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, guitar is new. Yeah, I take lessons from John Bridges. It's been something I started this past year, but singing's something I've been doing for a long time. Singing, speaking, just like using my voice.
Yeah.
To
Where do you get
perform.
the inspiration for your lyrics?
Oh gosh. Well, it starts with me free writing, just journaling anything that comes to my mind, and then it turns to poetry, and then sometimes it turns to lyrics.
Gotcha.
So it just happens. I started writing a song in my sleep the other night, and then I woke up and had to write it down. But most of it's just subconscious, truly. A lot of it has to do with current events. A lot of it has to do with my family. It's not all love songs. I rarely write love songs. Most of it is has to do with activism, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
We
Yeah.
need more activist songs. We have less, Bob Dylan's in the world, so we need those fight songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting kind of like down to those 5 minutes. I just have one more, and then maybe we could close up with the ladies. Share more about them. I heard a website. We need to share that URL. Just for my clarity and for the audience listening, is it just clothes that are able to be swapped? Is it artwork? Is it jewelry? Shoes? Like, is there anything that you don't want to see come in there, or because is it purses, belts, and all those other things? What do you want to see come into the shop, and what do you feel like people could just leave at home?
So I will read to you what we were told by the textile recycling place, just to make it quick. So they take towels, blankets, bed linens, table linens, curtains, decorative pillows, purses, hats, and belts. But
Wow.
we are basically just taking shoes, clothing. We can take all of the above items to be recycled. No dirty underwear, please.
Right.
Just had to throw that out there.
Well,
I mean,
and
all
that-
underwear, like bras, because I know bras could be expensive for.
Yeah, we take bras, swimwear.
Okay, perfect.
So it's not a spot for your garbage.
Right.
And if you've been to a Space Swap event and you're thinking about some of the things that we've talked about, like clothing the homeless and stuff. This isn't like, your old T-shirts. If you go to a Space Swap event, you'll see how extravagant, some of these clothing are that are being donated. Or you can just check out your friend Kaya's Instagram, because she's always posting about the great stuff she's picked up at Space Swap.
Yes. We wanted to mention too that we will be displaying and selling art. So almost like how at events people would have a vendor's fee, we would have a month long renting spot. So if anyone's an artist and they hear this and they want to display and sell at Space Swap, please reach out.
So is it more consignment or is it more wall rental, like a gallery?
Like a gallery.
Okay, gotcha.
So socials, website, what do?
So you can find us at space_swap on Instagram and TikTok. Facebook is facebook.com/spaceswapfl, and our website is spaceswapfl.com.
That was good. You guys have a phone number?
Nope.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Anybody want to divulge their personal line in case somebody wants to reach out, and like one of these artists or anybody else in the audience?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just figured I'd ask. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in the business of everybody. I need everybody to call me, so I'm never afraid to share my number.
Yes.
All right, perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Last
you.
questions. Let's close it down, and then introduce the last track.
Excellent. So again, we want to thank Alie and Eli and Shey out there for Space Swap being here today, talking about sustainable fashion, making our community a better place, and also opening up a singer-songwriter venue and coffee shop. And this is Harbor City Local, 501c3 nonprofit. We do have our Space Coast Music Festival links up at spacecoastrocks.com, bands and vendors. We are still accepting bands for our 22 local original compilation. So if you have some music that you want to be put out within the community, hit us up. We'll put it onto our CD and get it out into the masses. And let's see here. We have our Instagram at Harbor City Local, Facebook/Harbor. We do have a website. I forget what it is. It's a square site. But spacecoastrocks.com, you can hit up all of our events, see some leftover from Punk in the Park, and get ready for spacecoastrocks.com. If you're a sponsor that's looking to get out into the community, we will be activating sponsor links really soon on spacecoastrocks.com. And we do have stage sponsors, we have traditional sponsors, and we have our title sponsor. If you want to be put on the billboards with Harbor City Local and talked about in the radio as a title sponsor, hit us up. But all that will be coming out this week. But just want to thank everyone for listening, participating. Space Swap, check them out. And we'll see you next time. We are going to listen to Clinton Ingle off of one of our previous Harbor City Local compilations.
Promised yesterday, wouldn't let things turn out this way, but I know nothing's getting better. God knows I tried, and I ain't a man likes to swallow